Aita for not wanting my brother to sleep in my bed. I know this sounds childish, but I wanted others' opinion. A little background. I, 16F, and my little brother S, 9, have shared a room since 2016. Last year we moved into a bigger house where we could have our own rooms. My mom has babied my brother his whole life because of her getting older and not being able to run around with him like she did with me and my older siblings G, 23M, and T, 22F. So she gave in to whatever materialistic thing he wanted and always made us do what he wanted. S is known for crying to get what he wants and acting like a baby to try to get sympathy. For example, I do not like to be touched frequently by anyone. And S would make sure we are in front of my mother and say, "Why don't you let me hug you? Do you not love me?" Or something of the sorts. And you might think, "Oh, give that baby some love," but he does it on purpose because he know I am uncomfortable with being hugged. He will smile when me and my mom gets into arguments because she wants me to show more love. Me and my family have argued in the past because of me not wanting my stuff to be touched. My mother especially, as she believes the only right way to show love is affection. Her and my dad have bumped heads because of that too, as my dad is one of those tough love dads, which I am perfectly fine with. Now to the main issue. My room is my safe place. My bed is my favorite. I have plushies with sentimental value that I don't like messed with, and just the thought of someone in my bed gives me the icks. S would come in my room and ask to sleep with me. He would usually sleep in my parents' room. And when I said no, he went to my mom to tell my name is being mean and won't let me sleep in her bed. I just want to be around her. I have talked to my mom and told her I was uncomfortable with it, and all it ended with was her yelling at me for being nice to friends and mean to S. Me and my brother get along fine. But I told her when I tell my friends my boundaries, they listen to them, so it's not unnatural for me to be a little more comfortable hanging out with them. Every time S asks me to get on my bed and I refuse, they would try to guilt trip me. I just wish my kids could love each other. It's okay that my name doesn't like me. I'm not going to be here for long and you need to be there for him. She would be distant with me every time I declined a hug or kiss, and then act like she's my BSF and I can talk to her about anything. Aita? Aita for telling my sister she can no longer be a bridesmaid if my nephew comes to my wedding? History context. 6 years ago when my sister, we will call her Julie, was getting married and I was her Mo and she was a massive bridezilla. She refused to have anyone bring kids to her wedding as she didn't want little brats ruining her big day. She made a big deal about this during her wedding process. She had 8 bridesmaids and I had to manage all of them. Only 3 of them are still in contact with her. I wasn't allowed to change my hairstyle, gain any weight. In fact, I was encouraged to lose weight. I have always been on the thinner side than is recommended for my height, as I grew up with eating issues from being body shamed my whole life. I had to organize and pay for a bridal shower, kitchen tea and hens weekend because she demanded all 3 events but refused to pay for anything because, apparently that's not what a bride's supposed to do. The list could go on. Her wedding day was icing on the cake, but I kept the peace like I was told and did everything that was asked of me. Current problem. I, 26F, am excited to be planning my own wedding with my fiancé, 28 meters. I have to have Julie as my Mo, otherwise I will cause WWII. Even though I don't really want her as my Mo, I'll keep the peace and agree. My fiancé and I have both made the decision no kids to our wedding, and to every couple we have spoken to about this, they are thrilled for a parents' night off. Julie has her rainbow baby boy, Charlie, and has been giving me hell because I have told her no children are coming to wedding. She assumed that didn't include Charlie, but I have repeatedly told her to respect our decision and the boundary we have set. This argument comes up weekly, even though my fiancé and I have sat down with her and her husband to discuss this. My parents don't understand why I'm being difficult about this issue and should just let her have her way. Julie has always been the golden child and been spoiled growing up. My dad says I need to stop being difficult, and I'm really hurt and disappointed but not surprised that my family isn't respecting my decisions as they haven't respected me my whole life. Here's where I'm maybe the asshole and a bit of a bridezilla. Julie has made it clear that she won't be able to focus on anything if Charlie isn't at the wedding. But I know if he is there she will have her whole attention on him, and I refuse to have my day stalled and delayed in half-hour increments because she has to feed him or give him extra TLC. A wedding, in my opinion, does not resolve around a 13-month-old. I told her that I understand her priorities have changed now that she is a parent. But if Charlie comes to the wedding she doesn't get to be a bridesmaid. She's throwing a tantrum and my brother-in-law and my parents think I'm the asshole. My fiancé is standing by my decision, but am I being a bridezilla by not wanting to have to stress about a toddler running around and worrying about where my Mo is all day because she keeps disappearing? Aita? Aita for telling my sister she's a shitty human and telling her husband why. My sister, Rose, was engaged to my best friend Noah several years ago. During their engagement she asked if he would support the two of them while she returned to college for a change of career. He loved her and was more than happy to do this. During this time she was all in on school, or so we all thought, and she left him to take care of everything household related. Then 3 months before they were due to get married we found her cheating on him with his cousin. Noah's cousin is a huge who bullied Noah throughout their childhood and into their 20s. So the cheating hurt worse than anything. Noah's cousin was smug as hell when we found him and Rose together and even revealed she had been pregnant with his kid and had an abortion with Noah's money. The affair had been ongoing for months, almost the entire time he had been maintaining everything by himself while she was supposed to be only dedicated to college. I was disgusted with Rose and told her I would not stand by her side after what she did to Noah. She said she wasn't shocked since I always wanted to fuck Noah, which is not true, but he's my dearest friend and more family to me than she is. She was with the cousin for a while and then he gave her an STD. She moved away after that. She moved closer to home 3 months ago, with a husband, and was surprised when I treated her like a stranger instead of a sister. She was even more surprised that Noah and I remained close and that he was person of honor in my wedding, a wedding she had not been invited to and had not been aware that I had. She tried to talk things through with me in front of her husband, but it became clear he was under the impression it was childish sibling issues between us. She told me we deserve a chance to be close for the first time and she accused me of putting a friend before family. I told her she had some nerve, that she's a shitty human and I would never choose her over Noah. That he is there for me like I am him and all she ever did was ignore me and then destroy my best friend. Her husband asked what the hell we were talking about and I told him what she had done. How she had left things, and that she came back acting like none of it happened and judged me for staying close to Noah. Rose is pissed as hell at me and said I am holding this against her too much, treating her badly, and interfering in her marriage, which is none of her business. She tried to retaliate by telling my husband that Noah and I used to be a thing. My husband is still laughing so hard his sides hurt. He knows both Noah and I enough to know it's untrue and he trusts me. I told Rose she was still petty as hell. She told me I'm the one who went too far. Aita for what I said to her and her husband. Aita for not wanting my husband's grandma to hold my baby. I am going to be as vague as possible for privacy. Also I am on mobile and it is my first time posting. I, 20s just recently had my baby with my husband, 20s. For context I had a terrible birth. Originally I wanted an unmedicated home birth but had to be rushed to the hospital where I got an emergency C-section. I was absolutely devastated that it turned out that way and I am still trying to cope with it. My husband's aunt, 40s Ale aunt-in-law, is not a very nice person and we are currently low contact with her, as are all of her children. However, my husband's parents and grandparents still like to include her in everything and my husband's grandma, 60s Gil grandma-in-law, especially feels like Ale is constantly being unfairly treated and bullied. Both my husband and I decided we don't want her around our baby. Well, at a family event we were at a few weeks ago, the ladies started asking me about the birth and I just gave them vague details. Ale started going off saying how C-sections are not really even giving birth and you can't ever have a real connection with your baby. She said a bunch of other hurtful things that I can't remember. I started crying and went to the bathroom but I don't think anyone noticed. We decided to leave when on our way out Gil asked if she could hold the baby. I said no multiple times but she kept insisting until I gave in and let her, but I said no one else gets to hold the baby. As soon as Gil got the baby she walked over Ale and gave her the baby. I was so upset I started crying again and my husband immediately took the baby away and we left. 2 weeks ago we were at another event and both Gil and Ale were there. Gil came up to me and demanded to hold my baby. I really didn't feel comfortable so I said no again multiple times but she kept insisting. Eventually I let in again but made her swear to not give the baby away. Yet again, as soon as I gave her the baby she walked over to Ale. I really didn't want to make a scene, so I just said, "Oh, I actually don't want anyone else to hold my baby." To which Ail replied by saying, "Well, it's really not even your baby seeing as you didn't give birth." I started crying again and my husband took the baby back and we left. I have decided to never let Gil hold my baby again because she clearly cannot be trusted, but my husband says I'm being way too harsh and mean. He says technically Gil has never been mean or hurtful to us like Ail has been. Gil just wants her daughter to hold our baby. He also says that I am still emotional from all the pregnancy hormones, which I guess might be true. So Reddit Aita for not letting my husband's grandma hold my baby?